All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Hillsborough Township Planning Board meeting of September 23rd, 2021. Please join me in a salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be advised this meeting has been duly advertised according to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, otherwise known as the Sunshine Law. Notice of the 2021 annual meeting schedule has been provided to the officially designated newspapers, the Township Clerk, posted on the Township's website, and available at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex. Further notice has been provided to the same that as of July 1st of this year, the remainder of the 2021 Planning Board meetings will be held in person here at the Peter J. Biondi Building. Live virtual participation will no longer be available. Also, application documents have been made available on the Township's website, their civil clerk site. Complete application files are available in the Planning and Zoning Department for inspection in accordance with the public meeting notice. And with that, may we have a roll call of board members and board and township professionals.
Mr. Hestag, Mr. Emick, Mr. Peason, Mr. Scobo, and Mr. Ciccarelli are absent. Mr. Wagner?
Here.
Mr. Santa Romita?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Delcourt? Here. Mayor Lapani?
Here.
Vice Chair Julian?
Here.
Chair Sirachi?
Here.
Mr. Maskey? Here. Mr. Bernstein? Here. Kaz? Here. Me.
And you're there. Kaz is providing the proof on video. All right. We do not have any consideration of meeting minutes nor of resolutions. However, we do have planning board business, JSM at Hillsborough LLC, with a file number of 20-PB-09-MSPV, seeking extension of time through the end of the year, to the last day of the year. Mr. Maskey or Eric, who wants to take it?
That's their request. They were going to run out at the end of October, I believe it was, so they granted an extension to give us more time.
Okay.
So moved.
Jump to the... Well, the mayor
Second.
has moved it, so
Second.
I'm not stopping him. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Santa Romita?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Delcourt?
Yes.
Mayor Lapani?
Yes.
Vice Chair Julian?
Yes.
Chair Sirachi?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, may I add a note to the planning board business?
All right.
You had all received an email regarding a potential second meeting in November 18th. We've heard back from a few people, so if you haven't responded yet, please respond to Deborah. We only have one meeting scheduled in November, and with various holidays in the league, we weren't able to regularly schedule a second meeting, but it would be helpful if we could with the number of applications we have pending. So if you haven't responded yet, please thank you.
Sure thing. Have our professionals said they would be available?
I'll either be here or I'll be back from you know where that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to make sure. So. Okay.
Better offer.
There you go. Okay, so next up, business from the floor for matters that are not on this evening's agenda. I don't see anyone coming up, so we will move on. Next, we have consideration of ordinances. Ordinance 2021-19. It's an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement ordinance number 2020-08, which was an ordinance of the Township of Hillsborough, amending Chapter 188, Land Use and Development, Article 5, Districts and Standards, Section 188-9, and I'm not going to list all those zones that are in there, but just suffice to say, a lot of zones covered under that section. However, we are adding another zone, RSA, to apply to Block 182, Lots 9, 11.01, and 46.01 in Block 183, Lot 38.02, by further amending, revising, and supplementing schedule for residential zones, 188, Attachment 2, as to maximum impervious surface, which is percentage in the RSA zone.
The R8A, Mr. Chairman, just for the purpose of the record,
R8.
we are not adding
Okay.
a zone by this ordinance. We are amending an existing zone that this board and the Township Committee adopted, I believe, in 2019 to create the RA8 zone. What this ordinance is, and I'll have Mr. Maskey comment accordingly, is to amend the impervious coverage percentages for the existing zoning relative to, it is one of our inclusionary housing applications with a caveat to it. They're building market on that site and affordable on another site.
Okay.
Yeah, just to underscore what Eric just said, this is an existing zone. It's been in place for roughly, since at least the beginning of this year, if not sooner. It's the Glengarry property. All this is doing, it's a fairly minimal amendment. It only affects the impervious coverage requirement. Currently, it's 30% across the board, regardless of lot size, and the minimum lot size in that zone is 8,000 square feet. The amendment would make two categories of impervious coverage. So anything from 8,000 square feet to 9,999 square feet, in other words, under 10,000 square feet, would be allowed a 40% coverage, but not to exceed 3,200 square feet on any given lot. On the lots that are 10,000 square feet or greater, the impervious coverage would be 35%. So that's the only change. It's picking one overall impervious coverage requirement and splitting it into two categories based on lot size.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, a couple of other notes for the record. This ordinance was originally approved by Fair Share Housing and the court special master and the judge relative to the matter. It has been reviewed and approved by the court special master and Fair Share Housing. His Honor determined that based on the recommendations or such, he was not going to go through another approval. He believed that the change was minor in nature and therefore didn't require another full-blown hearing and another full-blown approval, but he is aware and was made aware of this change before it was introduced by the committee.
Okay. Comments from the dais? Questions?
Why are they increasing the imperviousness?
I'll answer that question. So, there's a lot of this property has, the homes are clustered into groups. So there's a lot of open areas with homes in these smaller lots, and doing the math, we've discussed that there would not leave an adequate amount, especially on the smaller lots, possibly for the homeowner to add a patio. You can take the house and the driveway. This is giving the homeowner some flexibility once they move in to have a little bit of a fudge room of about 200 square feet or so to add a patio to their house so that they can enjoy the outside of their house. And also what we did include that a maximum impervious of 3,200 on the small lot, so they wouldn't get too large if that lot was close to 10,000 square feet. So realistic, you're looking at around a 200 square foot increase on those small lots if you do the math, from a 30% to a 3,200 square feet.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's reasonable, because I know we have some other developments in town over the years where that thoughtfulness wasn't put in and folks couldn't even put a paved driveway down, and so.
Yeah, we wanted to minimize the amount of people coming in front of the Board of Adjustment to put in a patio.
Right. Any additional comments, questions? Okay. Would it be appropriate to open it up?
Absolutely.
To vote?
You want to open it up?
Okay. It's gonna, motion to open the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone in public that would like to provide commentary? Come on up in the microphone. State your name and address for the record and spell your last name.
Yeah, my name's Ken Baker, B-A-K-E-R. I'm at 452 Farm Road in Hillsborough. And I'm glad you're here in person because I attempted to get on the website a couple of times and there was just so much feedback that I gave up. So,
Welcome.
thank you. You know, you were just talking about this and when I was reading this, up the top it does allude to the specific property. But if this ordinance were to go through, if be adopted for the entire town, that would be a significant infringement upon floodwaters that go on in this town, and particularly Manville, where all the stuff flows downhill. So, you know, just to keep, you know, so the planning board keeps that in mind for future reference, that, you know, as we change the impervious, the maximum impervious requirements, you know, just take into account that there's no place else for the water to go. So consequently, it just, you know, we talk about global warming and all that stuff. But, you know, it's up to people like the planning board and other people in the community to speak up about the things that can happen when we're not conscious of some of the decisions we make. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just for the
Yes, sir.
record, this is only applicable to this zone, this property, and it's being done ostensibly to permit the number of houses that the township agreed upon relative to its inclusionary housing development to continue, which would therefore not affect our affordable housing output relative to the same property.
Did you hear that, Ken?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, it's just, this ordinance is respecting just this property,
Right.
in a nutshell.
Yep, and it'll be engineered accordingly, and I can say I live in a development that has 40% impervious, and knock on wood, we were essentially unaffected by the rains from a few weeks ago. So,
Yeah, it might be
So-
worth pointing out that the 40% is not uncommon in town, that the R2 zone also has a 40% impervious coverage.
Yeah, I think I remember asking like what the average was, but I mean, that's consistent with others from what I remember, right?
Yes.
okay. Motion to close to public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. So, Eric, our next action is really just
A
to...
motion by the planning board to endorse ordinance number 2021-19 and refer it back to Township Committee for second reading and possible adoption at next Tuesday night's Township Committee meeting.
Right, so just to clarify, this is not approving the ordinance, that's not in our purview, it's just to provide recommendation to the governing body, and they'll have a public hearing the night that they'll consider it for formal adoption. Okay, with that, may I have a motion to...
So moved.
consent? Okay, thank you.
Second?
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Senator Armita?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Delfor?
Yes.
Mayor LaPani?
Yes.
Vice Chair Julian?
Yes.
Chair Sarachi?
Yes. Next up, under public hearings, Campus Associates LLC, file 20-PB-13-MSP. I'm not going to go into the description, only because they are not here this evening, because they are looking to adjourn it to the October 7th, 2021 agenda with renotice. And Eric, do you have any background as to that they were so anxious to come back?
Well, actually, if you recall, they were originally scheduled to be here on September the 2nd.
Yep.
We had a small problem here in town that preceded the 2nd that prevented the meeting from occurring. They were looking to possibly get on tonight's agenda. There was an issue as to possible notice as to which newspaper would be acceptable, and based on that, they decided they were going to renotice on October the 7th, renotice the papers for a meeting on October the 7th, which I believe they have so done. So they will be here on October the 7th.
So I guess they forgot the papers they noticed the first go through?
Scheduling issues.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be noted that nothing has changed to either
Right.
the court order or the project. It's just a scheduling issue that they moved it over.
Right, and just, for the benefit of the public, I mean, this, this hearing is strictly going to be here to hear from the public. There's not any additional testimony being provided.
As I will indicate again in 2 weeks, pursuant to the consent order, there is no additional testimony to be granted. It will merely be, the public will have an opportunity to make its final comments on the propriety or lack thereof of the application without waivers and without variances.
Thank you. So, may I have a motion to to adjourn to October 7th?
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Abstain.
Mr. Senator Armita?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Delacourt?
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante?
Yes.
Vice Chair Julian?
Yes.
Chair Sirachi?
Yes. And with that, we have come to an end. As just mentioned, our next meeting is going to be October 7th. It will be held, just a reminder, in person. There is no live or virtual participation. Dave, anything else?
No, that will be the only thing on the agenda that night. The next meeting after that would be October 14th. We have one, possibly two site plans, definitely Moe's Southwest Grill coming in with a drive-through facility site plan. And as far as we know right now, JSM/Cost Cutters will be back to continue their hearings.
Have they actually provided documentation yet? Or,
No.
okay.
For those of you who want in on the over and under, we are taking.
Now, you'll find it, actually, having said that, you'll find in your packages some site plans from JSM from 5/27. Don't put too much stock in that. We'll let you know if that's actually the final one.
They extended to the end of the year, but that doesn't have anything to do with that agenda, right?
Okay. So with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. See you all on the 7th. Good night, everybody.